Yo,
Yo, it's Earthquake Report time. This is Earthquake Report for September 6th, 2018. And looking back at the earthquakes on September 5th, which hit Hokkaido, Japan, there was a magnitude 6.6 at least that caused major damage. You can see they've deployed troops to help with the area, and today has seen a number of large earthquakes, even larger than the previous days. So let's look at the earthquake activity. So the first major quake of the day and the largest quake of the day is this 7.8 in Fiji, and you can see a number of earthquakes centered around it. And this is around the same location where previously, earlier, only a few weeks ago, an 8.2 struck again at a very deep location. So you can see here this says 608 kilometers. That's very deep. We'll look more into that in a moment, but you can see that it is large and surrounded by, again, a number of 5.5, and that these are all most of these are at a pretty great depth as compared to the other things that you'd see on the map here. So that this activity is quite significant, and we'll continue to look at it. Other activity from this agency, because there's a number of agencies reporting a number of major earthquakes, or at least higher magnitude earthquakes, which are an indicator that something is coming. Those are actually the earthquakes themselves. They just might not be in populated places, but they're letting you know that something's going on. So you have a 5.8 here in Chile, a 6.2, so this is the other major quake of the day. Or when I say the other, that the USGS is reporting magnitude 6.2. And just to look at it real fast, you can see magnitude chart here. So 97 felt reports. We'll look at more of the feel, because people are reporting feeling these also. 5.0 in Guam, 5.0 in Indonesia, again near the regions that have been getting hit recently. You have a number here by Puerto Rico and the Dominican and the islands. Greece, 4.1. And again, Japan, and same place. These are basically where the large earthquake hit. This is the region it was reporting the large earthquake from yesterday. So a number of earthquakes still going on in the same region. I guess you could call those aftershocks. So a 2.8, but if you change this, I'm sure you would see that a number of smaller earthquakes are going on around Hawaii. And let's look at what different agencies are reporting. Okay, so for the felt reports on here, flight movement, Yes, I felt the quake and went down the street immediately, and I am close to the center of the quake, only 6 kilometers. It says. Okay. Definitely noticeable. It took about 5 seconds to identify. Stopped after 20 seconds. Strong earthquake. Keep calm. It was horrible. We felt 2 movements. The first one was moderate, but the second one was strong. So, okay, here. He felt strong with the duration of at least 30 seconds. Very strong. So, felt reports, strong. You can see these again. The Fiji earthquakes are deep. In fact, we'll look at this. This is a way to look at not just here on the pulled out view on Earthquake 3D, but you can do zoom in. And first of all, let's look at this real fast. Just looking at the entire globe. The red means it's deep, and you can see the color chart there. So let's look at this. There's a number of earthquakes that go on in this region that are quite deep, but that have happened recently, and I'll continue to reiterate this point. This is very powerful earthquake activity that's happening consistently now. I mean, it's happened over the past couple weeks. It's happening as I'm saying that it's happening consistently, and that it is more powerful than you'd normally see. And I'm going to make that point very clear through other rhetorical devices, using other people and their opinions. So this is the island here, and this would be flat, and so you can see these large balls here as compared to the smaller ones are major earthquakes at deeper locations. So this would be looking at it overhead and then from kind of this side. And you can see that these are very deep, very powerful earthquakes, way larger than anything else around here. And just, if you look at the screen, way larger than anything. And you can pretty much tell here, way deeper than anything too, other than maybe this orange one there and some, if we zoomed and looked around, but they're the most obvious. Okay. Next. You see this 7.8, and originally I believe it was being reported as 8.1 or 8.2. So we'll have to look back at that, but that's a very powerful earthquake. Okay, here. This says 7.3, and you can see it's red, and as compared to this, I mean, people died in this earthquake, and this is being given a more severe rating, and that these are also being given like intensity ratings that are highlighting it, so that a number of these within the past 48 hours are indicating that exactly what I've been saying. You can go through the videos, have come true. But okay, let's look at Bahrain, because they have actually reported some other earthquake activity which hasn't been reported, and these are large earthquakes which would continue to point out that the activity going on is pretty major. So, this would be the Fiji earthquake, 7.2. then North Pacific Ocean. So this is another earthquake, 7.1. So if they're reporting 7.2, is 7.8 or 8.1 on other ones. Oh, just updated again. What might it be actually? Like it's probably falling somewhere in between. I mean, we can click it and we can look at this. It says 7.8 here. Well, there you go. So, and they just chose this is the preferred one. So some at points did see, here. So this is 8.1, 8.7. Okay, well there you go. So a couple say 8.7. This is 6.1. So powerful event. And that's not all for the day. And in fact, that's not even what they're reporting as the highest magnitude event. So here, first of all, it's 6.4. That's higher than the Ecuador 6.2, but a 6.4 in the Indian Ocean. Very tip. Okay, so that's a powerful earthquake there. And again, let's look at this because so 6.9. So it's giving higher readings too. Okay, let's look at these other ones because this one looks really interesting. Belarus. I didn't see any reports on this. So, in fact, so this could be some sort of reporting. I mean, it's a couple of stations are reporting it, so let's look at it real fast. 7.4, 6.9, 29 stations. Well, some are high 7s or low 7s, and some are high 6s and some are 5s. So they're reporting a 7.4 and it looks pretty severe as compared to a lot, even the major one here, but it may not be that, but it's still, even if it's 5.5 like it was saying, that would be, what was it saying? Let's see. What was the lowest? 5.8, 5.4. Okay, so yeah, 5. So even if that would be more, but this is saying it's a 6. So multiple, like 6 earthquakes in a day. Here's a 6.9 in China. That would be a big deal if that's going on. This is 5.8, 5 point something. So that's why I don't believe these are reported on all agencies, is because they don't come to a consensus as to whether the sensors have all picked these up accurately. And certain agencies just choose to say, okay, we'll only go with what is 100%. We'll say what that is based on these sensors, right? Versus some will say, well, we don't trust these readings or this. That's my guess. Okay, a 6.1, that would be the one in Ecuador, and here's a 6.3 in Chile. That might be the 5.8 is reported by USGS. Okay, next there is a 2.9 here, Red Sea region. So this is earthquakes in Israel and Geophysical Institute of Israel. Red Sea region. More information, click here, let's do it. Alright, there you go. So, moving on, we'll look at volcanoes real fast. Ash advisory, continuous admissions. You can look at what volcano I'm doing. You can pause the video because there's just a lot of them putting out emissions. That's basically what it's saying. From small levels to larger levels, but mostly just saying that it's active. Okay, you can see some of the activity live here. Stromboli is giving us, if you were wearing 3D glasses, maybe it would be coming right at your face and be like, wow, real volcano experience. But it's definitely active, as you can see. So, the other day they had a guy working on it. It was interesting. He was just looking into the webcam. So, looking at a maintenance guy do his job was on the live was interesting. On the volcano cam, because he'd have to go out to a volcano to do his job. Okay. So, let's look at Earthquake 3D here. You can see how way pulled out, which means these are way deep. The more pulled out it is, the deeper it is. So, these are very deep earthquakes as compared to basically all of them. But there's one in Japan here that's pretty deep, but other than that, all the very deep earthquakes are happening in this, seemingly at this location. The Ecuador quake, you can see, wasn't super deep. Swarms in Alaska, and Chile has the 5.8, which Bahrain was saying like 6 point something. So okay, we'll check EMSC. Actually, we'll just do the Euro. Okay, so Gulf of Aden, 4.5. So you can see activity channel here. Italy. I think there's a okay, that's it. 4.1 in Greece. So you got different activity about Europe and the Mediterranean. Alright. And let's take it back to actually, okay, you can look at the major feed. This is a bigger feed, 4.5. And so a lot of 4.5s, or the last group of 4.5s, you can tell there's tons of major earthquake activity going on here. And I'm going to continue to reiterate this. This is a major point. And I'm not even going to be the only person in this video to do it. I'm going to use other videos to do it. Here, give me a moment. Okay. So, first of all, I'm stringing together relevant threads, and my Twitter is just a bunch of relevant threads where I take a video or something and pictures and stuff and put them in whatever. So this is like specifically early earthquake warning. This guy Dutch Sense does his earthquake warnings. He just does earthquake warnings. And I'm pointing out, because since he just does earthquake warnings, you should be able to like rhetorically, logically think that if this person is saying this, that it would probably be more accurate than other news agencies or people who aren't paying attention to this subject. So that he would have, they're listening to this person who's basically just does this seemingly, and that he's seemingly indicating that what I'm indicating, except not tied. It doesn't seem to be tied, right? It's just he's saying that this increased activity is happening. He didn't have the other part of this, that this is as to why it's happening. And so that's what I'm pointing out here, is that, okay, here, look, early earthquake warning. Again, if you go through my videos, we'll go back, but, fifth seal, sixth seal, makes the earthquake. Okay, so that large earthquakes strike across multiple regions, be ready. And then the next day, the large 8.2 happened, that same location where the major one happened today. Then major 7.2 strikes Indonesia, then 7.1 striking around South America and different places, and you see large 7.1 hitting the West Pacific. Large, and this was when it first happened, 8.1 magnitude, and he's giving a warning, and I'm going to play his warning because it's specifically in line with the biblical narrative that I'm saying is being put forth, is specifically in line with, this is a massive earthquake hit Japan in 2011, yeah, and this is 2,520 days ago, and this is 1,260. These are concepts out of Revelation. I'm making this point because this is seemingly not connected, right? I mean, it could be, but that this would seemingly be the indicator as to why this is happening and to what is obviously preceding this activity. And I'm gonna play his statements, or his video here, and you can hear what he has to say, because it's a warning, so I would assume he would want as many people to hear it as possible, because it's like he's trying to help people not get hurt by earthquakes too, right? So versus you not wanting to do that, right? Okay, here.
Everybody needs to pay attention at this point, and we all need to be ready for large earthquake activity to take place over the next several days, 7 to 10 days from now. Well, 7 days puts us to the 13th, and 10 days puts us to the 18th. So we're about to go back into overdrive. This is the biggest activity we've ever seen. So, take the previous 8.2 and couple it together with the current 8.2, and this would be the most activity we've seen ever. More than the Japan megaquake even. Japan megaquake had one single 9.0. Here we are with two different 8s. On top of the 7s, on top of the 6s, we've got ourselves a very, very serious situation. Now, this is so new, this earthquake just happened within the last 15 to 20 minutes. We need to wait to find out if it's actually caused region-wide shaking or damage. It is deep enough that it should just have been felt, but that's about it. It's deep enough far down below the plate. But this only will buy some time. This will buy a little bit of time. Maybe a few days at the most, or almost instantly, like down in New Zealand. 5.0 activity can pop up within minutes, and this is just the start of it. So I would expect a massive increase across the planet in the next 7 to 10 days. And we're going to have regions worked out for you very soon. Again, this earthquake just struck if you're just now tuning in.
Okay, so April 10th. So 10 days added on, April 20th, 420. So my points I'm getting across here that April 23rd, 420, April 20th. And by the way, that's the day that I'm saying, or that's the day that I posted that. I'll get to that in a second. And right before April 19th, so this is the part of Revelation where basically the Ark of the Covenant is opening and massive earthquakes and powerful supernatural weather events are going on to let you know specifically, yo, that you're being instantly and suddenly visited by Jehovah of hosts, thou art inspected. It's pronounced yo. So, by thou shalt be visited of Yahweh Zavod. That's closer. Yo. With thunder and with earthquake and great noise and with storm and tempest and flame of devouring fire. And, right after that, all these things have just been literally happening, specifically around the Pacific, actually. Well, specifically all around the world, but at a great level around this Pacific, at a very specific focal point, seemingly, as to, or between point from where I am and where this is. And there was even earthquakes here and there recently, so it would seem that there is this obvious narrative that's being put out, or that I'm putting out this narrative that is saying that you should go listen to what I've been saying. This is obviously happening. And yeah, I'd like my well, you can go listen to what I'm saying. So we'll keep this earthquake report. So let's keep looking at some earthquake stuff. Not too much left for this report, but I think that this is important because if you look here, this is the last 10 years worth of earthquakes. So 2008, 2018. Normally there is on a couple of years 0, so 2 out of the 10 years 0. 8 to 9 or 8 to 10.0 earthquakes. 9.0 earthquakes are very rare. The one that happened in Japan, and a handful of others, but they're not common, and neither are 8.0 or greater. And you can see here that maybe you might have 2 in a year in the past 10 years. There have been 2 in the past couple weeks, and seemingly I've been doing these earthquake reports for not that long, right? And I've been pointing this out on my Twitter for not that long, and you can definitely listen to the music that I'm also putting out too. So I have a SoundCloud. You can go listen to that, and you can look at all the stuff that I'm putting up too. But within a lot of these mixes, there are very clear it's very clear that the songs are ending in earthquake, and that it's a concept of I'm trying to get this over, that this is coming. And I mean, there's a Bible to get it over. That's but that I'm getting it over now that it's coming now. Like, it's not like the Bible is, people look at that as, well, where is that? That's not, or whatever. But I'm saying it's, yo, it's here. Yeah, now. And that, you could pretty much see that this seems to be impending within the next couple weeks. And that, again, you can clearly see that the earthquake activity in the couple weeks is like the amount that you'd have within a year. I don't even also think that this is a very accurate representation, because it doesn't include all the agencies, I don't believe, nor does it seem to actually be accurately including the data for the year. So I believe that this is off, and that there's been way more activity than this year, and that there's nobody other than, yo, I mean, I guess that's the whole point. There's a Bible, and yo, I'm getting over the point that this is actively happening. You should be listening to me. That, like, I am who I am. That literally, that this person becomes basically existential emperor. Yo, I become existential emperor. Because I'm the point of logic in the room, first of all, at this point. I'm like the only one saying anything worthwhile. So, that's about all of the broadcast for today. I hope y'all are having a blessed day, and we'll look if there's anything else going on. Okay. Well, so that's about it for today. That's it. I hope you've gotten a lot from this. I hope you are really thinking about this as a real situation and as a real thing that's going on, and that you'll pray about it and get yourself together to, not be caught out when this definitely happens. So, as this is definitely happening. And so, that's it. That's it for today. Hope you have a blessed day. Yeah.